Dobrý den všem, dnes máme možnost položit pár otázek Daniele Manu, autorce konceptu fasciální jogy. Hello, Daniela.
Hi.
I have a couple of questions. What is the fascial yoga?
Fascial yoga is a fusion of Bhakti-Vinyasa yoga and fascial fitness, which is a training program for fascia that has been developed in Germany. And I have added the training principles for fascial fitness into the yoga practice.
What is the benefit of fascial yoga for?
The benefit is that you stimulate your fascia a lot more if you apply the principle for fascial training into the yoga practice. A lot of the asanas in yoga already have a stimulation for fascia, obviously, because whenever you move, you are stimulating your fascia. But you can optimize or modify the asanas in certain ways so that you actually target the fascia a lot more specifically.
What kind of principle you adding for the yoga session?
Yeah, there is, first of all, it's the principle of tensegrity, which we have here, which is a lot to do with how we gain our perfect posture. Then a lot of importance lies on variety of movement. So our fascia really like to be challenged in many different ways. They hate to get the same thing all over again. And then we have 4 training principles from the fascial fitness program, which is rebound elasticity, that uses the elastic capacities of fascia. So we jump, we have swinging motions to target our tendons a little more. Then we have various forms of fascial stretches, sensory refinement, which is a lot of focus on the body awareness to train your body awareness even more. And then there is the principle of fascial release, using a foam roller to rehydrate the tissue and kind of allow the gliding capacities of the tissue even more.
How is it difficult to add this principle for the yoga? Sounds kind of difficult?
Well, some principles are really easy, like the fascial stretches. We have a lot of stretching techniques in yoga, so this is rather easy to apply it to your yoga practice. The rolling and the rebound is a little more difficult, but if you apply it well, it can be integrated in the yoga practice without losing the focus that a yoga class has.
Which way is the best to do it simple for the clients to explain why should do edit this principle?
Yeah, the thing is that our fascia is adaptive to our lifestyle, so every person has different limitations in their fascial tissue. And if you apply the principles of fascial yoga, there's a lot of exploration in the asanas, so you are actually looking for your very specific own limitations, and then you can resolve them.
Sounds also maybe difficult for some clients because you just giving a little bit more freedom than
that's true. That's true. You're getting a lot more freedom in fascial yoga than in a normal yoga class. So in the beginning, when we start fascial yoga, we only open up a little bit so that we start from something that we know. We always build up the asana in the classic way, and then from there it gets a little more open, a little more creative, so that everybody can really use it in the way they like and are not kind of overwhelmed in the beginning.
How long do you teach fascial yoga?
Fascial yoga I've been teaching for about 4 years now, more or less throughout the world, so I'm really happy to be back here in Czech. It's been the 3rd time here for fascial yoga, and I really like to teach in Prague.
Okay, and what was the reaction that people like to see first time the principle and adding for the session? Was surprising?
Well, most of the time I hear that they are really surprised how good they feel afterwards. It's always like, oh my god, this is so natural, this is so nourishing for me. So even if you have a regular practice, a regular yoga practice, it adds some depth to it. So that's mostly surprising for people, and yeah, I've usually they really like it and want to get deeper and are very inspired and motivated to integrate it into their classes.
Yeah, sure. Your background is Pilates in yoga, and how was it difficult to integrate the principle for yoga because before you didn't use it, right?
Well, for me it was a combination of what I already learned and taught for a long time, and then when all this new ideas about fascia training came along, I was really inspired and really, for me it was the missing link, So Pilates can be very controlled, and also in yoga sometimes it's very kind of straightforward. So I love the freedom of that, and it's like a missing link that brings it together, and also it brings a lot of fun into the practice.
Maybe people can say this is maybe something in, or like, is it future way? Which?
Yeah, well, I think in Germany, for sure, there is a big hype around fascia. So a lot of the media got very interested, and there was a lot of information around in the TV and in the newspaper. So there is kind of a movement that fascia is something that is in. But seeing that it is a tissue of our body, it's not something that you can just call a fashion. Fascia is part of our body, and we just recently got to know what fascia needs in order to be stimulated in a proper way. So I think it really is going to be an integral part of a lot of movement practices, not only yoga, but also we have it in the fitness world for athletes. You can add it to Pilates. The beauty is that we're teaching a concept, so it's not specific exercises. You are learning how to modify exercises in order to reach your fascia, so you can apply it to any training method you have.
Okay. What kind of education are you offering through the fascia yoga?
Yeah, for the fascia yoga, we have a 5-day immersion. That's a very intensive training where we really look deeply into all the principles. We have meditation. We also have mantra singing practice included. So it was important for me when incorporating fascia into yoga not to go too much into the direction of a fitness class, because I really like the spiritual side of yoga, so I wanted to keep that alive. Even when fascia obviously is an anatomical issue, we still try to keep the philosophy of yoga very much a part of the training as well.
How long did it take this course?
5 days.
5 days, and could you describe a little bit more about this course?
Well, usually we start the day with meditation, and then we have a long practice session where we apply the principles, and then we spend the rest of the day kind of getting back into the morning sessions and explaining the theory that was related to it, getting very detailed into how to apply the principles into asanas. There's a lot of group work so that the students already learn how to apply it in their own teaching, not just listening to me. And then we close the evening with a softer, slower practice session that includes also a lot of yin yoga elements, which is really to cool down and to integrate and kind of get out of the head again and back into the body before we close the day.
So it seems that you follow good ratio between the practice and the environment.
Yes.
So it's very important.
Yes, and for me it's important that people go away with an idea of how can I actually use it. So not just learning about theory and then you have to start to think, what am I going to do with it? It's actually really starting here to think about, okay, how can I do this with my students? Where does it fit in my classes? How can I offer it in my community?
This course is determined for only yoga instructor or for another instructor?
Yeah, I mean it is based on yoga, so most of the content is related to yoga, and we have yoga classes, but obviously the principles can be applied to Pilates teachers as well. We sometimes have physiotherapists applying it to their private classes, so it's based around yoga, but obviously other people can benefit as well.
So it's benefit, it's awareness about the body, what the people are missing probably now.
Yes, and also how to, if fascia is not stimulated enough or not in a proper way, it starts to get disorganized in the fiber structure, and you can get adhesions so that the layers cannot glide anymore in the way they were designed. So you get pain or problems in range of motion, and with these techniques you can really learn how to apply this into your practice to loosen up what's already being kind of a little in unorganized state, and also to prevent that to happen.
Okay. Are you planning another education in Czech Republic?
Yes, there's going to be one end of August, beginning of September. So if you want to learn more, come and join me in Prague. It's going to be with Andre here, who is the organizer, so let them know where they can register.
Yeah. So yeah, it will be last week in August. And
yeah, looking forward to that.
Okay, thank you for speaking, and see you in August.
Yeah, thank you. Hope to see you soon.